Well, hello, my kindred spirits. How in the world are y'all doing today? I hope that every one of you are doing great. Now, I have something so special that I want to share with you, and I think that you're going to really enjoy it. And I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think you'll enjoy it. But then, secondly, it's also going to be sort of a video library for my family, maybe later on, or those grandchildren, granddaughters that I hope and pray will be interested in these clothing items someday. So, if you didn't see the video in which I talked about this, let me explain to you what I'm going to show you today. This is a collection of clothing that was mine from the time I was born up until a little past when I got married. And every one of these items of clothing, especially when I was older, have a special meaning to them. But a lot of the things that I'm going to show you from when I was a baby were handmade by my great grandmother. And I'll put pictures of myself wearing these clothing items and or my daughter wearing them too, because she wore a lot of these things when she was little. And then I have one picture of one of my boys in a t-shirt too that I want to show you as well. So I think that you're really going to enjoy seeing this. I hope you do anyway. But if you are just looking for something to kind of ease your mind while you're studying, or you want to go to sleep, don't worry about seeing things. Just put the phone face down so that the light won't bother you, and you can just listen to my voice and maybe some of the sounds of the clothes as I pick them up. But otherwise, I do hope that you'll watch, because I think that you'll enjoy seeing it. And if some of you are around the same age as me, you may see some things that you had, or some things similar to something you had when you were young as well. So we're going to start first of all with the items from when I was a little bitty girl, when I was brand new. And let me reach over here right quick. Okay, this is not handmade. This was store bought, but I want to say that my granddaddy, my maternal grandfather, sent this to me when I was born. And there's a picture of me wearing it, and then there's also a picture of my little girl wearing it too when she was little. And it's just a sweet little sweater and little baby bonnet, but I kept it all these years, and so maybe someday a little grandbaby of mine will be able to wear it too. So it's so sweet. My mother actually kept it, and then I got it from a box from her house after she passed away. So I'm very happy to have this, and I'm gonna put that back over there on the bed so I can show you some of these things here from that are hanging up. So let's see here. Oh, let me show you this first. This is so cute. My great grandmother made this, and it's just a little sundress with little hearts on it. And I have a picture of me wearing it and my little girl wearing it too. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of sewing on this to fix it, because the little ties are coming apart. But I wore this quite often, and so did my daughter. And it's a special treasure to me, especially because my great grandmother made it for me. Now, this, I believe, is store bought. It's just a little shawl, but isn't it cute? And I think I was about 3 when I wore this. This is another handmade shirt by my great grandmother. Her name was Idabelle Page Mayberry, and she was from down in the Hurricane Creek area of Tennessee, if any of y'all know where that is. And so she made this for me. And looking at that swirl pattern, you can see it's from the 70s. And I love this material. I'd love to have this now. I remember cups having this swirly material on them from, well, Sonic is still around, but that used to be about the only drive-in, the only fast food restaurant that we had in the little town of Waverly when I was little. And we'd go to the Sonic and get something to drink. And I remember it tasted extra special in those cups that had that swirl pattern like this shirt on it. This one is so sweet. Okay, I went to Waverly Elementary School when I was a little bitty girl, and so we were the Waverly Tigers. And this is a t-shirt that I got when I was in, I want to say, the second grade. And I don't think I have a picture of me wearing it, but my son Nate, our oldest son, loved this shirt and he wore it thin. I mean, it's a lot thinner than it was when I gave it to him in the first place, but it's so precious to me that he loved wearing this. And he called it his morning shirt. And so one day someone came over and they said, "Oh, I like your shirt." And he said, "Thank you, it's my morning shirt." And the guy asked him, he was a stranger, the man who came over, and the man asked him, "Oh, are you in mourning? Why are you in mourning?" And so I had to explain to the man that it was morning, MORNING, because Nate would put this on when he woke up in the morning. And then later on in the day, he would change into something else. But this was his morning shirt. So sweet. So sweet. All right. So this is another little sweet shirt slash dress. I think it's probably too short to wear as a dress, but I have a picture of me wearing this too. And I believe in the picture I am at my great grandmother's house, and she always had irises growing in her yard. So this is cute as it can be. And it's got a little zipper in the back too. And there's nothing in here that states that she made it. There's no tags or anything, but that's okay. But yeah, she made that, and I'm so happy to have that. This one is darling. I have a picture of me wearing this one too. I'm so grateful that my mother and father thought that it was important to make pictures with me wearing these clothing items, because they were special because she made them by hand, or well, by her. She had a little Singer slant-o-matic sewing machine. As a matter of fact, I had it when I was young, and then I wound up giving it back to my cousin Carla, because I already had so many sewing machines in the house. I had two at the time, plus that one, and I just didn't want to keep it, knowing that another cousin might enjoy having it. But I remember watching her sew with these when I was with her sewing machine when I was little. And if you look back there's a toy video that I made last year from all the toys that I kept from my childhood. I'm a little too sentimental, aren't I? Anyway, there is a bonnet that I show you. It's a yellow and white gingham bonnet, and that was something that my great grandmother made for me, and I watched her make that one. So I was too young to watch her make some of these things, but this is such a little treasure with this little chiffon overlay, and then she's got the underskirt underneath it, and it feels like it might be satin or something, but so sweet. Now this is really special to me because this fabric, my great grandmother must have gotten a really good deal on this particular fabric, because not only did she have a house dress that she wore in this fabric, but her sister, my great aunt Thelma, also had a dress out of this fabric. And years ago, after my great grandmother died, me and my cousin Carla and my cousin Bethany went to visit our great aunt Thelma, and she lived in East Nashville. Some of you who are watching may be from Nashville, and I think East Nashville may be the hip part of Nashville now. Used to, it was where the working class folks lived, and my aunt Thelma lived on Dakota. So if any of y'all know where that is, that's where she lived. That's where her house was. So goodness, I want to say this was 26 years ago that we went to visit my Aunt Thelma because I was pregnant with our firstborn. So anyway, we went to visit Aunt Thelma, and Aunt Thelma had some things that belonged to her sister, who was my great grandmother, and she gave each of us girls something. And one of them was a dress, a house dress that belonged to my great grandmother that she made. And it was made out of this very same material. So I have a picture of me wearing this, and then I also have a picture of my daughter wearing this also. But I think this is so cute. And then she even made the little diaper covers to go with it. So she thought of everything. I was very lucky that she made all of these things for me. Now, this one is so sweet. It's got the little Easter bunny on it. And I just love this. And this part is like a polyester. Wait, not polyester, double knit. Double knit was very popular back then, and so this fabric is a double knit. It's not very breathable, and it's a synthetic material, but I don't care. I love that I have it. I don't think Lainey ever wore this one. This one may have been at my mother's house, and we didn't get this in time for her to wear. I think she was too big by the time we got it. Now this one is awfully cute. This is just a little orange and white dress, and I just thought that was so cute. Very, very much in the style of the 70s, the mid 70s, with this little sleeve and then the little kind of A-line here, and then she's got little buttons in the back, pockets and rickrack. So she thought of everything. And I do have a picture of my daughter wearing this one too. Some of the pictures may be difficult. I'll try to make sure that I put something on the picture so that you'll know who is who. You'll probably be able to tell though in the photographs, because the pictures of me look like they're older. You know, they have the colorization like they look like they're from the 70s. So, but I thought that was an awfully cute one, and the little buttons are so sweet on the back too. And then we have another one of the double knit dresses, and this one has a little heart button and a little pocket there and a zipper. And this is a shift dress. And so shift dresses were very popular in the 60s, and well, they're still popular now. They look great on any figure, but she made a little miniature version for me. Now, this one must have been, okay, this one is not handmade. This one is store-bought. But I have a picture of me and Lainey wearing this one. And isn't it darling? It's just a little summer dress. And it's got the little diaper covers, the little rubber on the inside of them. And it's so sweet. I'm so glad that my mother kept this because, again, I have a picture of both of us, my daughter and myself, wearing this one. So this was a special little dress. And, oh my goodness, the picture that I'm going to show y'all, I have my picture with Minnie Pearl. So y'all know who Minnie Pearl is, don't you? I hope you do. My father was a radio announcer in Tennessee when I was little, and so he would go to the Grand Ole Opry and different radio events that were in the summertime, and he would kind of do meet and greets and get to meet some of the country music singers and some of the celebrities. And so Minnie Pearl happened to be there, and so I have a picture of me and my grandmother and Minnie Pearl there. That's a different grandmother than who made the dresses for me. But anyway, I'm so proud of that picture, and I've always loved Minnie Pearl. She is from a little town called Centerville, Tennessee, which is very close to Waverly, where I'm from. And her real name was Sarah Ophelia Cannon. I believe I have that correct. And anyway, just a little snippet of information that I can't believe I was able to dredge up because I can't remember what day it is, but I can remember Minnie Pearl's real name. Isn't that crazy? All right. moving on, I have two more dresses from when I was little bitty, and then we're going to switch over and I'm going to show you the grown-up Lindy dresses. So this is another one that she made. These long prairie dresses were popular in the 70s, and this isn't that cute as it can be. And this is a little polka dot. I think it's dotted Swiss. Is that what that's called? I may be wrong about that, but this is just sweet as it can be. And then this one is so neat because my daughter got to actually wear this in one of my cousin's weddings. She was a flower girl when she was only about 2.5, I think. And so the color of the wedding party was blue, and so Lainey got to wear this in my cousin and his bride's wedding. So that made it extra special because it was mine when I was little, and then it was a vintage when she wore it. So I love that. Okay, so now we're going to move on into very young teenagehood slash just after I got married. And so, well, let me show you this very last one first. This is a gunny sack dress, and I don't know if you're familiar with gunny sack. I want to say, maybe some of you may know, is gunny sack, is that Jessica McClintock? Wasn't she the designer for gunny sack dresses? I may be wrong about that, but I wore this in one of my aunt's weddings in 1981. And I remember the song Magic by the band America was playing on the radio when we drove up to Nashville to be in the wedding. And so all the bridesmaids had dresses like this too. Some were pink and some were blue. And anyway, I kept this all these years. And I know I have a picture of myself wearing it, and I'll put it in here. But Lainey also wore it to a dance that she had when she was a little bitty girl too. So I'm so happy to still have this. And I have a little cousin, second cousin, who lives here in town, and we want to make sure we try to get a picture of her wearing this too, because it is just darling. I love this little gunny sack dress. Okay, now here is one. This is a little out of context too, but I'm so proud to have this, y'all. This belonged to my mother, and my mother wore this the day that she and my father got married. They went to the courthouse in Nashville, and they eloped. But she had this little dress on when she got married, and I want you to look at this because she was tiny. She was 4'11", so she was a tiny little thing. I don't know how I got so tall because neither one of my parents are very tall, but see how cute that is? And it would barely cover me as a shirt, but it is just so sweet, and I'm so proud to have this, and it's so flattering, such a flattering little fit. But there are no pictures of her that we know of her wearing it, so I'm sad about that, but I am glad to have that in my possession. Now, okay, I don't know why I kept this, but I did. This is the bikini I was wearing the day I met my husband. This is an OP, and that stood for Ocean Pacific. I don't know if that brand is still a thing, but I had this in a box, and it had turned a little yellow, and I got my cleaning products out and soaked it really good, and it still looks good. Now, some of the elastic is a little shot. I don't know that you could wear that. Maybe I wouldn't go in the ocean with it though, because the elastic probably will drag it off of you. But anyway, I had this bikini on in July of 1988 when that cute little blonde-headed boy kept making eyes at me at a swimming pool, and the rest is history. So I do have that little bikini. Okay, this has a fun story. When you graduate high school, you get your cap and your gown, and This came from Jostens. Is Jostens still in that business of putting these things together? I bought it, and I remember them telling us that not to wear anybody's from the previous years, or if we had any cousins or older siblings that graduated before us, not to wear it, because every year, to keep people rebuying them, they would change the color ever so slightly. Have you ever heard of that? They probably still do that. But anyway, so I still have my cap and gown. But here's the crazy thing about this. You think that, okay, you buy this, wear it once, and then it's gone. Not so. There was a little girl who I knew her mother, and she was graduating. She was homeschooled, and her mother knew that I still had this, so she asked me if she could borrow it for her daughter's graduation, Olivia's graduation. As a matter of fact, years later, I wound up working with Olivia at the salon that I used to work at. But then my daughter Lainey wore this for her graduation. She was also homeschooled. So this got 3 wears. Isn't that crazy? A disposable outfit gets 3 wears. So there's probably more people who've worn those longer or more times. But anyway, I thought that was so funny. Okay, this is so fun. I was at a shop last week in Charlotte. I'm probably going to mispronounce the name. It was Boehm, Boem, Boehm. And anyway, cute clothes. They had a dress in there that was very similarly shaped to this one. It was denim. It was sort of that stonewash look, but it was very similarly shaped. So this style, little short skirt, it's coming back again. Chris bought this for me in 1990. I remember seeing it on the dummy in a window. I don't even remember what shop it was at, but it was at Easttown Mall in Knoxville. And I fell in love with this. And so he bought it for me. I don't remember what occasion. It might have been Valentine's Day. I'm not sure. But look at the pretty little colors all over that. Isn't that the cutest dress? And so I wore it for my senior pictures. Don't laugh at the hair. It was the Motley Crue phase, and I wanted my hair to be big like Vince Neil's. So anyway, I wore that dress for some of my senior pictures. I changed clothes several times, but anyway, that was in one of my senior pictures. So now, let's see. I'm going to skip because I want to try to stay in that same time period, but I may have to jump around. Let's see here. Let's go here. Some of you may remember the brand Rampage. It was a popular brand back in the 90s and late 80s, 90s. The crazy thing too is these are way before everything moved to China to be manufactured. So most every one of these things are made in the USA. Chris bought this for me for my 17th birthday. And it's so cute. It's so flattering. I don't know if you can see. It has little pockets here. It has shoulder pads. It's got that short little skirt. And yeah, that's short. It's a little shorter than fingertip length. But anyway, this was a darling dress. I wore this all the time. I loved how that one looked. And let's see. Okay. Is this called Argyle? I think that print is called Argyle. This has had a lot of use. This came from a store, again in Easttown Mall, called Mark Henry. My sister-in-law, before she was my sister-in-law, worked there. And so I guess Chris went in there and got a discount for this. But anyway, this was a Christmas gift from him. And I want to say this was around 1989, probably Christmas 1989 he gave this to me. But Lainey, my daughter, has worn the heck out of this too. When she was younger, she wore this all the time. So I was glad that this got a second life from her wearing it. And let me see if we can, okay, so we're going to go here. This, do y'all remember Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere? Was that 1990? I don't remember. It was 90 or 91. Yes, because, okay, so she wore a dress just like this. And the brand is My Michelle. And again, made in the USA. Chris bought this dress for me for a graduation present when I graduated high school. So I have one kind of funny looking in a distance picture of me wearing this dress. And Lainey put it on the other day and she looks so cute in it. The dress has faded differently than the belt, and the belt's kind of in rough shape, but it was so pretty on her. And this dress, it was so flattering, and I loved this dress. It was such a pretty dress. But anyway, I still have it too. Okay, now this is, well, let's see here. Let's go here. I kind of skipped a time frame. This little dress got 2 wears. Okay, this was for my 8th grade prom, and I went to Pigeon Forge Middle School, and our prom was at the Holiday Inn in the middle of Pigeon Forge, just right down from the school. And I remember the theme was Never Say Goodbye. Do you remember the Bon Jovi song, Never Say Goodbye? That was our prom song, because the used to, when I lived in Pigeon Forge, you only had a couple of high schools that you could go to. You could either go to GP, Gatlinburg Pittman High School, or Sevier County High School. It kind of depended. They didn't really tell you where to go according to where you lived. Even if you lived, further away from one, you could still go to the other one. They didn't really have rules in place back then. But I wound up going to Sevier County High School, and then a lot of my friends went to GP High School. And so anyway, Never Say Goodbye was the prom theme, because we all had to say goodbye to one another as we were partying, because a lot of us were going to different high schools. But anyway, this dress came from it was a department store called Kastner Knots, and it was at Rivergate Mall in Nashville. And that's where we always went to buy our special occasion dresses when I was little. We drove from Pigeon Forge back to Nashville to buy this and another one too, because it was just the place to go. And I don't remember when Kastner Knots closed down, but anyway, it was the best place to buy beautiful dresses. So I wore this for my 8th grade prom, and then the following year, it was that fall, I was going to Sevier County High School, and I was nominated for the freshman candidate for homecoming queen, so I got to wear it again. So I got 2 uses out of this one. And Lainey, my daughter, had the best time. She played with this dress. She wore it all the time for dress up. She loved playing with this one, but it's so cute. I think this is called lame. I remember gold lame was popular, but this is a kind of a mint green lame, so very 80s looking. It was so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, we don't have too many more here. Let me show this to you. This is something that I never did wear, but it's got the best story. Okay, this is probably from the 1920s, and I love this. I have had it for forever. My grandmother used to go to thrift stores and yard sales like crazy, and I couldn't stand it when I was a kid, because I just felt it made me feel, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I didn't like buying my clothes at garage sales, but she bought a lot of things for me at garage sales, but she also bought a lot of treasures for me too. But anyway, she was telling me how she had bought something at a garage sale, and it had a bunch of old gowns in it, but she threw them all in the garbage can. And I said, Mimi, I want to see those. And so we went to the dumpster where she lived and dug this out, and then I washed it, took it home and I washed it, and it is so pretty. And it's got these little, let's see, I believe that's called a godet. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It's a way to put fabric down at the bottom of something so you've got more room to step in it, but it's a nightgown. But isn't that beautiful? And I've had it forever, and I've just always loved it. And I played with it as a kid, and then my daughter played with it, and it's just a neat little piece of my history from, I think I was probably about 8 years old when my grandmother and I pulled this out of the dumpster can. But I'm so happy that I still have it. All right. Now, let me go. Let's go down here and look at these two. First of all, look at that little butterfly detail on this dress. This dress was originally purchased in 1980, early 1988, because we had something called the teen board, which I'm sure is probably still around. I think it is. And so you did things for the community, and then they had a big dance. And so I wore this for a teen board dance in early 1988. And my friend Robin and I went. We didn't have a date, but we went by ourselves, and then we met up with friends there, and we had a good time dancing and having fun at that, getting dressed up. It's always fun to get dressed up. And then I actually wore this the following year too. There was another teen board dance, and this time I was presented. And so when you're presented, you get to wear long gloves. It's kind of like cotillion, but I don't know, not real. Anyway, it's just a fun thing to do, get dressed up. And so Chris and I went, and so I wore this dress twice also. So that was good to get two wears in. Now, this is my senior prom dress, and this is the dress that I showed you on that preview of things to come for this video. This came from Kastner Knots. When I saw this dress, I just went nuts. It was so beautiful. And I'm looking in here right now. My mother had to go in and tighten it up so that I could wear it. She had to sew it up for me. This was a size 9-10, and I remember she sewed a lot of my friends' dresses. She would go in and kind of alter them just a little bit so that they would fit us. But anyway, this dress is spectacular. It has this little bustle. I thought this bustle was so pretty. It's got tulle underneath here to kind of flounce that bustle out. Then it has this beautiful sequins on there. I hope you can still see the sequins. They're clear or iridescent sequins. And then this little wrap around the waist, and it was sleeveless. This dress was expensive. I remember it being nearly $300 back in 1991. That was a lot of money. And I begged my mother for this. I put it on. I felt so fancy, and I begged her for it. And I said, Mama, if you buy me this dress, I'll wear it for my wedding dress. Well, when I got engaged, I really did. I remember I was sitting in a psychology class at Pellissippi State Community College, and I was trying to draw out if I could add some sleeves to this, and I was trying to figure out how to bleach it white. And I even remember talking to some seamstresses trying to figure out if we could make this white instead, and it just wasn't possible, so I didn't wear it for my wedding dress. But this is a Jessica McClintock dress. And remember with this one, this gunny sack. Y'all, I may be completely wrong about that. My thinking that Jessica McClintock was gunny sack. You'll have to let me know, or I could probably look it up too at some point. But for some reason, I always associated those two names together, so maybe somebody could tell me for sure. Okay, now let's see here. So let's look at these last two before we get into my being married. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay. When when I was a young teenager, I didn't I didn't really I started kind of discovering the fact that you could get attention by what you wore. About the same time I was getting ready to graduate high school, because I would wear certain things and boy, the boys would start looking, and I like that attention. Well, these are a little too attention seeking. The first dress I bought, no, it was this one. I bought this one at East Town Mall again, and I remember I had some little black flats that I wore with it. And you talk about a knockout of a dress. It doesn't look like a whole lot right this minute, but it fit me like a glove. There was no hiding any kind of bulges. Of course, when you're 18, there aren't a whole lot of those going on, but this was the cutest dress. I had really long blonde hair, and I was cute as a bug. I love this dress. And so I remember Chris came and got me, and we went out to eat, and he just couldn't keep his eyes off of me. And so thought, oh, well, I'm going to have to get some more of these. So anyway, that was so cute. But then, oh my goodness, I had Lainey try that on about a month ago when I pulled it out of the attic. And, oh, I should not have worn that dress out in public. It was short, y'all. It was so short. But anyway, I was young and dumb. This one, too, oh my goodness. It was form fitting and cute as it could be. I don't remember where I bought this. I think it actually, you know what? I think I do. I think it came from TJ Maxx, because I nearly didn't buy it because the polka dots were a little bit rubbed off. But this was another one of those little hot numbers that were, oh my goodness, it was way too short to be wearing out in public. But I did, and I loved it. Okay. So now we're going to get into after I was married. So this is my wedding dress, and I tried it on. It still zips up, but I couldn't breathe. I didn't keep it on long. Now, this was handmade. There was a lady in Fountain City, Tennessee, which is outside of Knoxville, who made this dress for me. It's made out of shantung silk, and it's also, I think this is also referred to as raw silk. And it has these little bead details. And this, when I originally took the picture of a dress that I wanted to have made to her, I told her I wanted it plain. I didn't want any beading on here. And you can see the beading has changed colors. The sequins that are on underneath the beads, they have darkened. They weren't dark like this when I wore it, but she put all of this lace and the sequins all over it. And when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed because I did not want all of this. I wanted a very plain dress. But she said, no, I think that you need to have, since it's a wedding dress, it needs to be fancier. Okay. Anyway, it was so pretty. I had tried on a dress at a wedding dress shop that was A-line like this, and kind of 1950s style. So it stopped right underneath the breast, and then it flowed. Well, it showed the waist, but then it flowed out too. And then she put a train on it, and then there's a little hook up underneath it that you can hook the train to after you're married, and you can walk around in it. And I have my veil, it's in the attic somewhere too. I made my veil, but I was really happy with this because she had made this in 1995 for me, and it was only $300. And so that's, that's cheap compared comparatively for a handmade dress. That's really unheard of because all the time that it took for her to make this. So I was very pleased with that. But anyway, I don't know that anybody else will wear that, but I kept it all these years because it's an important dress, of course. All right, let's move this back down here. And I've got just a few more. This is my honeymoon bikini. My goodness, I didn't have a whole lot covering me, but I wore this on my honeymoon and beyond too. And so that's a tiny little string bikini. And then let's see, this is Barefoot Miss of California. So I don't know if that brand is still around, but that is what this brand is. And here's something interesting too. This is the crazy thing about women's sizes. This is a size 11, 12. And women's sizes, of course, are vanity sized, but it's crazy how sizes fluctuate because when I was younger, I wore what seems like a larger size. I wore a larger number than I do even now, but I was smaller, of course, when I was younger. So it's so silly. Men's sizes are consistent, and I'd rather have a consistent size than the fluctuating size for vanity's sake. Okay, now I have always loved this dress. I think the reason why I bought this was because it reminded me of my wedding dress. So this is another one of those A-line styles, and it reminds me of the 40s with the way it was cut on the bias and how it drapes, but it has a belt too, and it's such a flattering dress on. I haven't tried it on. I don't think it would fit me anymore, but it's so flattering. Just a beautiful, beautiful dress. I always love to wear that. And then this dress has gotten a lot, believe it or not, a lot of use over the years. This is seersucker, and it's two pieces. So it's a long skirt with these buttons. And when I first got it, that slit came all the way up to about here. And so when I walked, my leg poked out, and it was a little too daring, I guess, for a married woman. So I went in and I sewed up that slit just a little bit so that it was a little bit less. And then it had this darling little vest that you wore, and it buttoned up and has a little faux pockets. It's cut on the princess seam, so it's very flattering on the bodice, just cute as it can be. And this is All That Jazz, and that was a very popular brand back then. I think I wore this around 1997 the first time, but I wore it again. I wore it to my niece's wedding. Let's see, I want to say she got married in 2018, and so I wore it then. And then the picture I'm going to show you is just me. I made a picture of myself holding some soap that I had made, and I've got the dress on. And so anyway, I've always loved this. This is just very flattering. Seersucker never goes out of style, and this is somewhat of a classic style, but anyway, I hope that some young girl in my family wants to wear this someday, some young grandbaby. All right. And the very last one I have to show you, I don't have a picture of myself wearing this, but this is actually a maternity dress. It had the long skirt and then the little shirt, and then you wore it, over your little belly. And this is Nicole Michelle is the name brand. Is Motherhood Maternity, is that still around? Do any of y'all know about that shop? That's where I got a lot of my little dresses and things when I was pregnant. But anyway, I wore this to a wedding when I was pregnant with our daughter, and I didn't know if she was going to be a boy or a girl or not yet. But anyway, I wore this to a wedding, so it was a very sweet little dress. Well, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed that. Again, I wanted to show you all these pretty things that I kept that are so sentimental to me. But again, I also wanted to make this video so that I could have a video diary of all these pieces so that anybody in my family, if they wanted to know about where these pieces came from, maybe after I'm gone, they'll be able to know the history behind some of these clothing items. So if you are sentimental like that and you've kept some clothing items that were part of important times in your life, let me know about it in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you've kept and what event it came from, because it's so much fun. And I know we shouldn't hang on to things for so long, but like I explained in another video, when I was little, my grandmother and my aunts would tell me about all these beautiful clothes that they had when they were young, and I wanted so badly to be able to put those clothes on and look at them and see them and touch them and feel them and experience them, but none of them had anything from their youth. And so this is my contribution to my grandchildren or great grandchildren, so that if any of them are curious about some of the clothing that their great grandmother or grandmother wore, I'll have it. So, anyway, I sure do appreciate y'all watching, friends. I will see you on the next video. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up for me, please, will you? Thank you so much.